Guys, what's up? My name is Alyce, and I am the priest in Exiled Power on Arthas. I am here today to go over another video of one of the dungeons on the Legion beta. This one is Halls of Valor, and it is located in Stormheim. A couple things, remember this is beta, everything is subject to change, and especially if you're going to be doing Mythic dungeons, because this is on Heroic, so there may be changes with that as well. Also, I am playing Disc in this dungeon, so you will get to see some of that gameplay. However, this was one of the first dungeons that I did as Disc, so it is a little sketchy sometimes, but you will get to see that as well. So the first boss actually comes up pretty quick here. As you can see, it is a Vrykul type dungeon, and the first boss is Hymdall, and he is clad in gleaming golden armor with an imposing frame that looks to have been chiseled from granite. Hymdall remains ever vigilant at the gates of the Halls of Valor, tasked by Odyn to keep the unworthy from entering the halls, with deadly storm drakes circling nearby ready to heed the call of his horn. He will never falter in his charge. So Hymdall has 3 abilities. The first is Bloodletting Sweep. Hymdall sweeps at all enemies in a cone in front of him, inflicting 600,766 physical damage and reducing all healing received by 25%. In addition, the wounds bleed for an additional 59,000 physical damage every 2 seconds for 4 seconds. So it's mainly just a tank ability. Make sure you're not standing in front of the boss so that you don't get hit with that as well. His second ability is Dancing Blade. Hymdall throws an enchanted blade towards a random player. Upon landing, the blade begins to whirl, inflicting 207,877 physical damage every 2 seconds to all enemies within the zone. So you can see that on the right there, spinning in a circle. Just make sure you're not standing it. His third and final ability is Horn of Valor. Hymdall blasts his horn, inflicting 427,634 physical damage to all enemies and summoning storm drakes to breathe lightning on his enemies. The storm drakes will spawn, and they have one ability. It is Static Field. The storm drake breathes lightning, creating a static field that inflicts 475,000 nature damage every 2 seconds while within the zone. So you did see some of those. They do a flyby and put lightning on the ground. It's a fairly simple fight. So, like I said, the dungeon is located in Stormheim. It does have a Vrykul theme to it. And if you do notice, you don't actually kill most of the bosses. You do kill one of them. So you're basically being tested throughout this whole dungeon. And the Halls of Valor is in the clouds high above Stormheim. The Titanic Keeper Odyn has called the greatest Vrykul warriors of Azeroth to be his Valajar. Amidst feasting halls and hunting grounds, these ascended Vrykul test themselves and prepare for the great war that is to come. Adventurers must pass through these halls and prove their worth if they hope to stand before Odyn and claim the Aegis of Agramar. So this is again one of the final quests for the zone is done through this dungeon. You'll get one of the Pillars of Creation at the end of this dungeon, like the other 3 that are for the zones. And this one, the trash is pretty simple. There's nothing really to worry about with them. Just make sure you're not pulling a lot, which is very possible in these rooms. As you can see, you normally just pull one side of the hallway and go down that way, so you don't have to clear the entire room. this next boss is a Valkyra, and it's kind of interesting. She has two mini bosses in the room in front of her, and she actually gains abilities from those mini bosses after you kill them. So the two mini bosses are Olmir the Enlightened and Solstin. And the whole idea with this one is you drag the boss to one side or the other, and she gains the ability of that mini boss depending on which one she is closer to after you kill them. Her name is Hyrja. In life, Hyrja was a warrior without equal, defending the Valkyra from all threats. Her valor and courage drew the attention of Yr, a Titan Watcher. Upon her death and ascension to the Halls of Valor, Yr has awarded Hyrja with her greatest honor, transformation into a Valkyr. So she does have several abilities. Her first one is Shield of Light. She charges her shield with light, launching a burst of energy toward her current target, inflicting 944,000 holy damage to all enemies in a line and knocking them back. So that would mainly be on her tank, unless somebody else pulls aggro. Her next two are the Mystic Empowerments. So there is either Thunder, which is for the mini-boss that we just killed, or Holy, which is the one we are actually about to engage there. So the Mystic Empowerment Thunder. While in Rage of Solstin, Hyrja is empowered with thunderous power, enabling her to cast Eye of the Storm and Arcing Bolt. Every 4 seconds, Solstin further empowers Hyrja, increasing the damage of both abilities by 10%. Beware. And then when she is near, so Eye of the Storm is the first ability, which you actually saw when we killed the mini boss there. The caster creates a lightning storm that inflicts 161,550 nature damage every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. Standing within the Eye of the Storm reduces nature damage taken by 144,000. So that was that purplish bubble that would appear, and you just want to make sure you get under that. The second ability that she gains from this is Arcing Bolt. The caster creates an arc of lightning that leaps up to 5 times, inflicting 237,574 nature damage to each target. So here you can see the Eye of the Storm, and I believe she casts Arcing Bolt throughout the rest of the time when she is over on this side. So when she is on the other side, which the tank is going to pull her over there now, Mystic Empowerment Holy. While in range of Olmir the Enlightened, Hyrja is empowered with Holy Light, enabling her to cast Sanctify and Expel Light. Every 4 seconds, Olmir further empowers Hyrja, increasing the damage of both abilities by 10%. So you can actually see on her buffs there the stacks for being near the mini-boss there. So the first ability that she gains there is Sanctify. The caster creates orbs of holy light that radiate out in all directions, touching the zone, inflicts 207,877 holy damage. That one's coming up here, and it's similar to the first boss in the Klaxi boss, Heart of Fear, the first boss in that. Her second ability on that side is Expel Light. Hyrja enchants a player to radiate a burst of light after 3 seconds, inflicting 285,000 holy damage to all players within 8 yards. So basically, if you get that, you just want to move away from everybody else. It's kind of an interesting boss. I can see a lot of play going into that, switching sides once you're in Mythic. In Heroic, it's not really a big deal. I have run this dungeon a couple times where the tank just stands on one side. The damage does increase, so it is a little bit more difficult when they do that, but it is doable on Heroic. I really think Blizzard did an excellent job with the design of this dungeon. It is amazing to look at. It feels humongous while you're in here. It's gorgeous, and just some of the design choices are amazing. You'll see here in a second, we're actually going to go through a portal to fight the next boss, which will be just around the corner after we kill this trash. We will be going into the hunting grounds. So you cannot take these portals while you are in combat. I have ran this dungeon where the tank charges ahead and I heal them because they pulled something, or one of the DPS pulls something, and the tank goes through the portal and everybody else is stuck because we're stuck in combat, and then we end up wiping because of it. Not fun. So if you're a tank, make sure your group hasn't pulled anything before you go through the portal.
Fenryr stalks these
You
grounds.
can skip a lot of the trash in here. There is also sometimes a treasure in here, however we do not go to it in this run. I would suggest clearing a little bit more trash than what we are clearing here, especially if you're doing Mythic again. This boss will actually, after you get him down to a certain percentage, he will run away back to his cave and you will have to run across part of this zone. So if you do have trash up, while you won't be in combat with the boss, you'll have to clear the trash anyway, and it makes the boss fight last a little bit longer. Also, if you see on that map there, he is shown on the dungeon map as down at his cave. That is where he will be running to. That is not where he will be when he spawns. He will either be in the northern section or the southern section at the beginning. I am not sure why he doesn't show up where he is from the start, but we have had several groups be very confused because we went down there and he's not there. So Fenryr is a wolf, as you can see. In the fields of the eternal hunt, the greatest Vrykul champions keep their skills sharp, competing to see who can fell the largest beast. But man and beast alike give a wide berth to the fearsome warg Fenryr, true master of the fields, who stalks his prey and pounces with unnerving quickness. So his first ability is Claw Frenzy. Fenryr lashes out, inflicting 706,784 physical damage, split between all enemies within 12 yards. This attack will always hit and ignores all armor. So, basically it's going to split damage across the party there. Next is Unnerving Howl. Fenryr lets loose an unearthly howl, interrupting all casting for 3 seconds. That's mostly going to be for your healer, and because tanks do kind of get hit hard. So you want to make sure you are not getting interrupted by that. Next ability is Ravenous Leap. Fenryr leaps towards random players, inflicting 118,787 physical damage to all enemies within 10 yards of the impact. In addition, all targets bleed for 47,500 physical damage every 3 seconds. So this is the leap he will, as you will see here, a couple players will have marks above their head and he will leap between them and leave a bleed on all 3. The last ability is Scent of Blood. Fenryr catches the scent of blood in the air and fixates on a random target for 6 seconds. So this is really something that your healer really needs to be aware of, because he is going to swap off of the tank and hit one of your DPS or yourself. I haven't actually been targeted by it, so I'm not 100% sure that it can go on the healer, but just be aware that it is going to switch off the tank. So after you kill Fenryr, you do get this buff that makes you run really fast through the rest of the instance. This is where you really want to be careful that you do not pull any of this trash, or if you do want to, you can actually pull all the trash in here and wipe and just release, and you will actually be ported back to the start instead of doing this run back. You'll port back to the same place. And now we are actually going to go up probably the coolest visual I have seen in any of these dungeons so far, as soon as we kill these mobs here. Also, as you saw my screen kind of get orange around the outside there, that is the hidden artifact proc for Disc Priest called Overloaded with Light, and it increases the damage of your next Light's Wrath by a significant amount. While questing, I've actually had that one-shot Alyce, which is kind of cool. It does not happen often, but when it does, it's really kind of fun. So once you get in, this is actually the final room of the dungeon. We are going to kill these 4 mobs, and then the second to last boss will come down. This boss's name is God King Skovald. Gul'dan approached the Vrykul King Skovald with a simple proposition. He could join the Legion and receive ultimate power, or he would see his people destroyed. Dreaming of conquest and glory, Skovald has taken up the Legion's offer and been set to a single crucial task. He must claim the Aegis of Agramar from Odyn in the Halls of Valor and deliver it to Gul'dan. Only then can his endless conquest begin. So basically we are just stopping him from stealing the shield. The Aegis of Agramar is actually going to spawn when the boss spawns as well. Your tank is going to want to pick this up. The bearer of the Aegis of Agramar creates a shield for allies that absorbs all damage taken from the front for 12 seconds. So your tank is going to pick this up, and he's actually going to use it during the fight. So, God King Skovald has 4 abilities. His first ability is Ragnarok. It inflicts 187,000 fire damage to all enemies every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. Each cast increases the damage of Ragnarok by 25%. His second ability is Fellblaze Rush. He charges toward a random player, inflicting 459,400 fire damage to all enemies within 10 yards. So you are going to want to be spread out for this boss. The next ability is Infernal Flames. He creates an area of blazing flame that inflicts 97,554 fire damage every 0.5 seconds, and this effect stacks. So that's going to be the areas on the floor. And the last ability is Savage Blade. Skovald lashes out at his current target, inflicting 789,935 physical damage, and applies Ragged Slash if the target is not protected with active mitigation. So this is just on your tank. And Ragged Slash inflicts 41,576 physical damage every 2 seconds for 20 seconds. So they're going to take the hit from Savage Blade, but if they do not have active mitigation up, they're going to get that dot as well. So Ragnarok, which is the first ability that I discussed there, that's actually what he's casting now. This is where your tank is going to want to use the shield, and then everybody needs to stack in it. This is a mechanic where if you do not stack where you're supposed to stack, you're going to die. He then takes the Aegis, and then I believe the tank needs to take it back. As you can see, it gets thrown on the floor there, and the tank picks it up again. I believe one of the melee could actually take it as well. However, in all the groups that I have done, it has always been the tank. So now, after he is down, the final boss is going to come down the stairs there. The final boss is Odyn himself. Odyn, a Titan Keeper, was empowered by the Titan Pantheon to lead the Titan-forged armies against the old gods. In the aftermath, he raised the Halls of Valor into the skies, assembling a force of the greatest Vrykul champions to defend Azeroth. But when Ulduar fell into the clutches of Yogg-Saron, he was betrayed by Loken and cursed by Hyrja, now trapped within these halls for eternity.
I never thought I would meet anyone who could match the Valor
So
gods.
you do only have to bring him down to 80% to defeat him. He does have a lot of health, however. He has 5 abilities, and the first being Unworthy. Upon being reduced to 1 health, Odyn removes the player from battle until he is defeated or all players are proven unworthy of Odyn's respect. So basically, if you die, I believe you cannot be battle res because you don't actually die. Next is Runic Brand. Odyn creates a brand on each player that lasts for 12 seconds. The brand inflicts 29,697 holy damage every 2 seconds. Entering the corresponding rune on the ground cleanses the effect and applies Branded. Branded is upon cleansing a rune, Odyn blesses the player, increasing damage and healing done by 50% and increasing movement speed by 25%. In addition, the player is restored to full health. So you'll see it actually just happened. So the rune that you need to go to will appear on your screen, and you just have to match it with what's on the ground.
Beware.
Next is Spear of Light. Odyn creates a Spear of Light at a player's location, inflicting 415,700 holy damage to all players within 8 yards, and 95,900 holy damage to all other players. In addition, each spear inflicts 89,000 holy damage every 2 seconds to all nearby players. Touching it in Next is the glowing fragments. Touching a fragment causes it to erupt, stunning the target for 3 seconds and inflicting holy damage.
You are truly remarkable creatures.
Next is Shatter Spears. Odyn causes all spears of light to burst into 3 glowing fragments. And last is Radiant Tempest. Odyn emits a pulse of energy inflicting 1.3 million holy damage and knocks back all players within 30 yards. So that is all for the Halls of Valor. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe below, and we will be coming out with more beta videos here shortly. Thank you for watching.